Yo, what's good YouTube? ZAMCRO here, aka Scoop, back with the farm. We have season 2, week number 5, and we're taking on Bart, coach of the Archeops FC. That means football club, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, he's got a pretty scary squad, as you can see on screen. Captain Mega Galade, paired with the Tapu Lele, Skarmory, Rotom Heat, Middle King, Araquanid, Hitmonlee, Delmize, Alolan Muck, Zygarde 10%, Archeops, the mascot himself, and the very cheap 1-point Clamperl. I don't really expect Clamperl to come. I'm not sure that it's viable with adult lines and things like that. That being said, we have Mega Alakazam, Celesteela, Hydreigon, Nidoqueen, Greninja, Comfey, Suicune, the Decidueye, Oricorio, Mega Charizard X, and the Yanmega, where we're bringing Celesteela, Hydreigon, Nidoqueen, Greninja, Suicune, and Mega Charizard X for this match. I noticed my opponent doesn't have a solid switch in to Mega Charizard X, and only has 2 viable ways of revenge killing it, in a Choice Scarf Zygarde 10% and a Choice Scarf Archeops. So, I felt like building my team in a position or in a way to where Charizard comes in, nets a knockout, or can set up and sweep was the best case scenario. So for that to happen, I had to have checks to potential Choice Scarf Zygarde 10% and Choice Scarf Archeops. So I decided to bring Celesteela, which is a mixed defense variant, and Suicune, which is more of a defensive variant, so that I can take on Zygarde and Archeops pretty comfortably. With Nidoqueen, I take on Rotom Heat pretty comfortably as well. I do have the Piapa Berry as well, so that I can take on Tapu Lele. I can stay in and take a Psychic if I have to throw off a Sludge Bomb and eliminate a huge threat to the rest of my squad. That being said, I can also stay in on Mega Galade and potentially take a Zen Headbutt and see how much I can do with Sludge Wave or Earth Power. Obviously, it won't be knocking him out or 2-hit KOing him or anything like that, but he could make an over prediction and go for something like Close Combat, and his defenses could drop, put him in range of a 2-hit KO. Whereas if he goes for the Close Combat, I will survive and take minimal damage thanks to Resistant as a poison type, and then I will survive the following Zen Headbutt thanks to my Piapa Berry. That's the thought process there, and I could potentially get 2 hits with him having lowered defenses, which could potentially be a 2-hit KO like that. We do have Sludge Wave, Earth Power, Taunt, and Stealth Rock, so no way to hit Skarm, but we do have Taunt to prevent that thing from being too much of a nuisance. On Celesteela, I guess we should talk about all of our ones in order. Starting off with Celesteela, our boy management here. He is mixed defense with Toxic and Leech Seed, so that we can catch the Rotom Heat upon switch in. It could be a nuisance to our squad, so catching that thing with a Toxic early on would be nice. Leech Seed for pretty much the majority of my opponent's squad, including and most notably for things like his own Skarmory and the Alolan Muck. For our moves of choice to do damage, we have chosen the Heavy Slam, as it will do consistent damage to his entire squad outside of Skarmory and the Rotom Heat. So that being said, our last move is Protect. Obviously, we do want to get leftovers back and let toxic damage rack up on things. So that's the idea with Celesteela. Next up, we have Hydreigon, which is a bulky Hydreigon with a little bit of special attack investment. We have Dark Pulse, Earthquake, Taunt, and Roost, where we are Life Orb, and have Earthquake for the the Alolan Muck. We can 2-hit KO it potentially, depending on what its item is, and always a 3-hit KO no matter what kind of set he is. And we have the Taunt as well, which is really nice for the Skarmory. Can prevent it from setting up hazards or defogging, things like that. And Roost for longevity. Obviously, we can take Brave Birds and Iron Heads from Skarmory, Volt Switches and Overheats from Rotom Wash, and things like Sludge Wave, switch in on Earth Power from Nidoking, and then Roost up and things like that. That's the idea behind Hydreigon. And for Nidoqueen, we have more of a Spadef variant to take on the Rotom Wash, to kind of be able to not necessarily take on anything else, but just to be a bulky mon, outpace a few of his mons, such as Alolan Muck, and potentially Araquanid and Rotom Heat and things like that, and just get some decent damage off. Mainly there to get our Stealth Rocks up to pressure the rest of his mons. And like I mentioned, we do have Taunt so that we can prevent, Skarmory from being too big of an issue, or from Araquanid from being too big of an issue. Next up we have Greninja, which is going to be a Scarf variant, and we are outpacing not only Tapu Lele and Nidoking as Choice Scarf users, and potentially even Hitmonlee as a Choice Scarf user, always outpacing Mega Gallade. But we took it one step further, expecting our opponent to run a Zygarde 10% or Archeops with a Choice Scarf, or potentially both with a Choice Scarf, to revenge kill my Mega Charizard X. I do expect them to speed creep my Mega Charizard X. So I'm rocking a modest Greninja that outpaces Zygarde 10% and Archeops. That would be speed creeping a Mega Charizard X. So I'm a few points above Mega Charizard X, which would speed creep Zygarde and Archeops if they are speed creeping my Mega Charizard X. So that's really nice for me. I'm able to rock U-Turn. I believe Dark Pulse, Hydro Pump, and Surf. Surf is there so that I don't have to risk the miss. If I got it down to a guaranteed win with Surf, then I can just bring in my Scarf Greninja, click Surf versus things like Rotom Heat, Nidoking, a weakened Skarmory, weakened Mega Gallade, Archeops, so on and so forth. If they're not as weakened as I need them to be, then I can always just fire off the Hydro Pumps, potentially even Torrent boosted Hydro Pumps, which really wreck my opponent's squad. That being said, next up we have Suicune, which is a Scald, Ice Beam, Roar variant, and I think our last move is what is our last move? Toxic or Protect? I'm not real sure what the last move is, but this thing is our main switch in to Mega Gallade. At neutral, we can take, we're not 3-hit KO'd by anything. However, if my opponent gets to +2, we aren't OHKO'd by anything after Stealth Rocks, which is really nice, and we can just roar our opponent out and, save that fight for another day. Last but not least, we have Mega Charizard X, which is a Dragon Dance dual stab variant with max HP. So every Pokemon we're bringing this week has max HP, except Greninja. And this Charizard has a little bit of attack investment, enough speed to outpace Tapu Lele and everything below. So I can outpace Choice Scarf Lele, Choice Scarf Hitmonlee, and Nidoking, which is really nice for me. So I only need dual stab. Fire Punch and Dragon Claw hits his entire team for at least neutral damage, which is really nice for me. So all that being said, that's going to be the squad, and we can go ahead and hop into the replay and see how the battle went. Alright, so my opponent chooses to bring the Alolan Muck, Mega Gallade, Rotom Heat, Archeops, Skarmory, and the Nidoking. So immediately, I noticed the Archeops. I kind of expected either it or the Zygarde. More so the Zygarde, as the stone, like you don't have to risk the Stone Edge miss. You could just go for the Scarf 1000 Arrows to revenge kill a Megazord X. But I guess if I didn't Mega and was playing mind games, then my opponent would just rather click the Stone Edge. So I can understand that. Next off, what I immediately noticed was no Tapu Lele. So that huge threat, that monster of a Pokemon, not seeing the light of day versus my squad. I can understand why I do have a couple Psychic Immunities and Celesteela, as well as some potent threats that outpace it offensively and threaten it that way. So I can understand why he didn't bring it. So my opponent's got 3 potential Stealth Rock users in Archeops, Skarmory, and the Nidoking, as well as 2 potential Defog users, unless you count Archeops as well. In the structure of his team, I don't expect his Archeops to be anything other than Choice Scarf. So that being said, we're going to see what our opponent wants to lead with here, and we're going to lead off with our Suicune, as it led off best versus everything outside of the Rotom Wash, in which I could scout and see what he wanted to go for, honestly. But yeah, my opponent's going to go for the U-turn here and go straight out to Mega Gallade, as I go for the Scald there. I'm not sure why my opponent would go straight into Mega Gallade, unless he had Heal Bell. He revealed to be Facade throughout or after the match, so I'm just going to leave that there. However, my opponent doubles into Mega Gallade on my Nidoqueen, and critical hits my Suicune here as I hard switch in to roar him out. And in comes the Nidoking, and here I'm just going to protect, see what my opponent wants to go for as he reveals the Thunder Punch. So what I'm going to do is go hard into my Hydreigon. Any damage versus this thing is good, but just clicking Earthquake here, predicting the Alola is my best play, as it does pop his Figgy Berry, and he gets that 61% back, and basically back up to full, and takes this as an opportunity to get rid of my Life Orb, which is okay for me, as I can still knock him out the following hit, as well as I'm not taking recoil anymore. So that's okay for me. I do hard switch out to my Celesteela on his Archeops' U-turn there. I would have been able to take Stone Edge pretty comfortably as well, but I did expect my opponent to just U-turn out. However, I did not want Hydreigon to take that damage yet, or to be knocked out yet. So he's going to bring in his Rotom Heat here, like I mentioned, and he's going to reveal Volt Switch, as I'm going to click Protect here, scouting for what he's going to go for. And I can comfortably go into my Nidoqueen, but my opponent reveals the Inferno Overdrive, popping out the Z, the Fire EMZ, as I'm going to taunt him the following turn and prevent him from defogging my rocks away. I didn't want my rocks play to be for nothing. So I let my Nidoqueen go down here, and I bring in my Greninja, and I go for the Surf as he brings in his Mega Gallade. I wish I'd have clicked Hydro Pump there and 2-hit KO the Gallade. Unfortunately, that is not the case. However, I'm going to bring my Mega Charizard X in and click Dragon Dance right in the face of Mega Gallade, knowing I can live any one hit, and then Oko or 2-hit KO Gallade or whatever his switch-in is. But he does hard switch into this Nidoking, which reveals to be quite bulky, and is able to survive my Dragon Claw and knock me out with Earthquake. However, I revenge kill him with Hydreigon, and then he revenge kills me with the Mega Gallade. And then I bring in my Celesteela, and my opponent's going to predict me to either click Leech Seed or any kind of non-flying type move, as he goes for the Swords Dance as I get the Toxic off. He goes for a second Swords Dance as I click Heavy Slam, and now I can just click Protect as he dies to Poison. But realizing what I was doing, he does just hard switch out into his Rotom Heat, saving Mega Gallade as sack fodder, which is a fine play here. But knowing that, I am just going to throw off the Leech Seed here so that I can get this 6% back from the Mega Gallade and be close to 70% after all of that. And after leftovers here on this Protect, I am back up to 71%. So that's really nice for me. I can sack off my Suicune here, as it's not really doing much for me, as my opponent just clicks the Volt Switch, goes out into his Skarmory here, and I am going to go out into Celesteela and click Leech Seed. Scouting what kind of set my opponent is, and my opponent goes for the Swords Dance as I throw off a Leech Seed. I'm going to hard switch into my Greninja, because after leftovers, Hydro Pump is guaranteed knockout and Surf was a roll. And I decided to go for the Hydro Pump just to be safe. And my opponent brings in the Archeops here, as I'm going to go back into my Celesteela, as my opponent clicks the U-turn there, making a really, really solid play, as U-turn would not have knocked out my Greninja, and he would have lost his Rotom Heat for nothing there, if he is max speed Scarf. However, I do go out to my Celesteela. I am able to survive an overheat. I am able to get this Leech Seed off and click Protect here on the and get an extra round of Leech Seed back plus leftovers. So I'm back in a position to where I can take one hit from the Archeops. I do get what is known as a passive knockout on the Rotom Heat with my Leech Seed recovery there. And after this Protect, I am going to be out of range of Archeops, and I can click the Heavy Slam here. This was actually a roll in my favor to survive there, and we are able to survive, picking up a narrow 1-0 victory in a match where we honestly thought we had lost it twice. So nice to pick up a victory here, and that's going to be a good game to Bart. Good luck the rest of the season, my man. And I'm not sure who we play next, but yeah, that'll be coming up in the following week. So look forward for that. Let me know what you guys thought about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.